Page 6 now, the socialist candidate's warped take on the Israel-Palestinian conflict. New York congressional candidate Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is defending her depiction of Israel's self-defense along Gaza as a massacre. This would be Israel's response to a recent attempt by Arab rioters to breach a border fence.
For me, the lens through which I saw this incident as an activist, as an organizer, if 60 people were killed in Ferguson, Missouri, if 60 people were killed in the South Bronx, unarmed, 60 people were killed in Puerto Rico, the occupation of Palestine.
No mention, of course, that virtually all of the Palestinians who were killed had ties to terrorists. No mention of a recent uptick in attacks against Israel from Gaza over just the past few days. These would be inconvenient truths for this socialist candidate. Joining me now, the founder of the American Truth Project and Daily Ledger contributor, Barry Nussbaum. Barry, 200 or so mortar and missile attacks from Gaza into Israel in just the past few days. It seems as though on the other side of that border, that is Israel, may be preparing for a worst-case scenario in Gaza.
Graham, I can assure you, my sources in Israel tell me planning is underway now to finally put a stop to the daily barrage of missiles, mortars, grenades, and firebombs coming over the Gaza border. Enough is enough. They've reached their limit, and I'm quite frankly astounded that Israel has been patient in the face of ridiculous amounts of assault. The Israeli government ordered everyone in southern Israel around the towns of Sderot and the kibbutzim there to never be, get this, more than 15 seconds from a bomb shelter 24 hours a day, because that is the maximum warning radar gives them. Sometimes it's 8 seconds, sometimes it's 10. The maximum is 15. That's not life. That's insanity. And this socialist candidate from Brooklyn is oozing the Palestinian insane narrative, knowing nothing about the subject, but she sure knows the socialist talking points, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does, and she actually believes there's a Palestine, when you and I both know that there is no official state of Palestine, yet she keeps that narrative going as well. Or maybe there is a Palestine, it's called Jordan. I think a lot of us would agree. Now, in this country, we have a leadership problem, and I really question this, Barry. The GOP leadership is talking about bringing a Democrat bill to the floor of the House that would essentially eliminate ICE, Immigration Customs Enforcement. And I know they're doing it for a political purpose, to humiliate the Democrats, but I just don't think we should play politics with our national security.
Graham, there's absolutely zero chance, and I mean literally zero, that this will ever pass. The Republicans are playing an interesting game of three-dimensional chess. If they allow discussion on this bill, every Democrat on the left, I mean the way left radical progressive group, that stands up and says, yes, let's eliminate border security, let's open the borders, let's take away law enforcement laws that we passed as Congress. The president didn't do it, it's the Congress. Will have a target on their back in November. It may be a shrewd political move to humiliate everyone that stands up and says, I'm against border law enforcement that we passed because it's racist. The mainstream, middle of the road, and normal Democrats are running away from support of this proposal. They don't want anything to do with it.
Right. But, you know, at the same time, it could also gin up the base, which, you know, what the radical Democrat wants to do. Now, one more thing. Inside the FBI right now, we're hearing that there's some, understandably, after what we saw last week with Peter Strzok's testimony, a highly unbelievable individual, in my opinion, and I think a lot of the FBI is embarrassed by his testimony, but they're also embarrassed by what has happened with James Comey, and so there's a real leadership void, it seems, right now.
I feel really bad for the tens of thousands of men and women who work their asses off every day keeping America safe. The leadership at the top is not only corrupt, but they're not even apologetic about it. From Mueller on down, the upper leadership, the director, the assistant director, the head of the investigation, which is struck, these are people that honestly believe they can do whatever they want. They report to Congress and they are refusing congressional oversight.
Yeah.
What's going to happen eventually is there's going to have to be a house cleaning, Graham, because the FBI deserves our support, but they deserve effective, ethical, morally unreproachable leadership, and they haven't had it.
Comey, Strzok, Page have done grave damage, and there's probably more of them, have done grave damage to the Bureau, and now it's up to the Attorney General. Let's face it, it's up to Jeff Sessions to fix this and get rid of that dry rot, if you will. Barry, thank you.